The following documentary was produced by the Department of National Defense in cooperation with our sponsors and in line with its mandate to promote the welfare and to preserve the legacy of Filipino war veterans. It tells the story of thousands of heroic young men who braved incredible odds in Bataan and Corregidor to defend their motherland. It brings us to a proud moment in our history when Filipinos from all walks of life closed ranks in the spirit of sacrifice and patriotism to fight a common enemy. May their story inspire us all.
In 1941, just before World War II became a traumatic reality on our soil, young Filipinos were having the time of their lives. After all, the Philippines then was a colony of the mighty United States of America, and it seemed like there was nothing to worry about. Little did these young Filipinos know that they would soon be called to defend their country. Virtually overnight, they would change from carefree boys to full-grown men the size of heroes. I'm Joel Torre. Join me in the next hour as we listen to their story. The story of the defenders of Bataan and Corregidor and the legacy they left you and me. Their story recounts a fight against hopeless odds. A saga of courage, of sacrifice, of duty to country.
Eh, Pilipino ako. Dumating yung mga kahaway natin. Siyempre naman, sumuyo tayo sa bansa natin. With or without American help. We would have done it anyway. Somehow we did not quite realize how a war would be.
Personally, I thought it was a picnic.
We were faced with an enemy that was determined to eradicate you.
They underestimated the Japanese, and we paid the price for that.
We thought that we will die.
We had no idea that we were going to get no reinforcements.
If we did not receive any order, we would not have surrendered.
We were going to fight to the end, like the Alamo.
Why were we doing it? Who for? What for?
The Filipinos did most of the fighting and most of the dying, right?
Kung kami tapat sa bayan, maalala mo yung pareha.
In 1941 marked the end of a nostalgic period called peacetime. After 5 years of the Philippine Commonwealth under American tutelage, life in the islands rolled along blissfully, with institutions, infrastructure, and industries taking root, and the promise of independence just 5 years away. The atmosphere seemed full of gaiety and hope.
the best years of my life, I would say. In UP, there were a lot of beautiful girls.
Tumutulong ako sa parents ko para mag-vendor ng ika nga yung pang-almusal.
Arellano High School, magkano ang tuition? 4 pesos a year.
The government is very efficient. There is no graft and corruption.
I used to go with my grandmother to hear Masin Intramurals in the morning, and I used to stay for a while to watch these soldiers of the 31st Infantry drilling.
They call them the thirsty firsters because if ever they did anything, they drank a lot of beer and Geneva gin and the whole bit. So one of the reasons why so many people wanted to be assigned to the Philippines, it was considered good living for a soldier. And it remained that way until spring of 1941, when it began to heat up, where we knew that this was no longer a pleasure cruise, it was something very serious.
But elsewhere in the world, war clouds gathered as the European colonial powers and the United States braced to stem the march of fascism across their territories. After the US opposed Japan's invasion of China, it became clear that the two military powers were on a collision course. At some point, the Japanese would consider hitting US bases around the world, making the Philippines an obvious target. Despite the danger, many believed that Japan would not dare challenge the might of the United States. The myth of American invincibility gave Filipinos a false sense of security.
Yes, we knew that war was coming, but we were so sure that it would only last for a couple of days, principally due to the propaganda by the Americans through the movies.
What can Japan do against America? That was the thing that we were thinking of.
Nevertheless, the Philippine Commonwealth prepared its own defense plans under the direction of its military advisor, General Douglas MacArthur. Young men were periodically called for training. In college, there was the ROTC, but with scarce and obsolete weaponry, these drills were more like a rite of passage and a venue for benign inter-school competition.